Good day to you. It's warm for you. Nice spring day. Dr. Prodigal out trying to do little things, little small things, a little bit yard work. It's been very hard. I just took off the back brace. It's not a lot of yard work getting done. I'm sorry. Still not healed to that point yet, but yet I am healed. So, let's just touch on a couple of little things today. Let's even start there. People say, you got to confess the word. Yes, I do. We all do confess the word. But we live in two realities. How is that? Say, for instance, the injury that occurred. Now there's a healing process. So I am confessing by his stripes I am healed, but yet I have a process of rehabilitation and things like that. And I think that that's where we have to start coming into the reality of God, that we actually operate in two different realms. So while I can have a headache and I say, by his stripes I'm healed in this realm, and still have that headache, I'm already healed there, so I'm just waiting for the realms to catch up. But what I was thinking of, and this could be real quick, just to always remember some things. Sometimes you have to, encourage yourself in the Lord. Pretty good example. I'm not going to show you because I can smile and you can't see it, but I had to have a tooth extracted. I had gotten so bad. And, I had known it. And then, of course, COVID had kicked in. So there was constant cancellations on any treatment. But I had to go to a oral surgeon. I will fight a rabid gorilla. And it's only a couple things in life that I'm not really feeling. I guess I can make you laugh. I've seen a lot of gory things in life, between military, between streets, between car accidents, your injuries, even on myself. Not really, that doesn't tear me up as bad. Now something that does, babies, bowel movement. Then I kind of like the green or either the yellow. Oh my gosh, I get queasy. And I have to laugh about that because I remember a guy in the military, he would see a bug with long antennas and boom, oak tree. He was a big muscular dude too. Wasn't too much fat on his body nowhere. I used to tease him saying he bench pressing airplanes instead of jumping out of them. But I remember he was scared of that and needles. Needles is another thing I'm not thrilled with. So my thing that I had to deal with recently was the oral surgeon. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, can you put me to sleep? Well, we have to do all these other medical things before we can put you on. Okay, well, that's not gonna work. Can you deaden it? Well, I'm not gonna feel anything. Yes, we can, and all you feel is some pressure. Okay, I'll deal with it with that. So once he starts giving me these needles, fear kicked in. Let's be real about it. Fear kicked in. And I realized in that chair, I said, Lord, connect this fear that I can pray against it. I remember almost the same month, and I think it was like 1981, somewhere in that area in Fort Ord, California. Oh my gosh. It was a man that he did me in. He did me in. He was saying, oh, you're airborne. You can deal with this tooth being pulled. If you feel anything, just raise your hand. Well, I was trying to pull the light out the ceiling. And long story short, almost went into shock. They actually held me in the hospital for a little bit because I was going into shock. He was pulling that thing out. So I can tell you some torturing techniques that will work. Fingernails, teeth, it works. But in this instance, I was scared. I didn't want to be there, but I knew I had to get it done. And I was hoping for an early appointment, in which they did give me one. So now I had no chance to talk myself out of it because the original one was another 20 days from now. And I had already been waiting 20 days. So it's like, okay, let's get this done. Well, I'm sitting in the chair. He's bringing in the needles. And I'm like, oh. And it felt like he was pushing the needle in the side of my whole existence over on my left-hand side. I said, okay. So he had, where the tooth is, they had to actually, it would cause pain in the jaw as well. So he went all the way up over. So how it kind of feels like your whole face is laying down. Then he got to pulling. Put this in your mouth, keep it open. I was glad. The last people didn't give me anything to keep it open. They said, you keep it open. So here it is. He's and I'm hearing. He said, you'll probably hear some crackling, and then we'll have to cut in to the gum to get the rest of the tooth and the root and blah blah blah. I was laying in my mouth, and I said, Lord, I remember even after that man did me so much damage in that chair to where I was horrified. The next time I had to see an oral surgeon was years later. I'm talking the 90s now. Matter of fact, it was over 15 years later. I would not go back to a surgeon, get no tooth pulled, nothing. Something was bothering me in the jaw again. And wow, it's something about this left jaw that it kept. I had a wisdom tooth that grew down and under the molar in front of it. It kept on until I couldn't stand it no more. I went to get it done, and at the time, all of my care was through the VA, especially dental. It was very expensive on the outside, and I went in, and the dentist, she had just started working as an oral surgeon. Little old Jewish grandmother, and she was hilarious. But she said, there's no way that this is going to come out without surgery. But what we're going to do is arrange it so we won't have to cut as deep. At that point, I didn't care. I was like, look, just stop it hurting. Once she numbed it, then she was cracking jokes and everything, and she was even cracking some weird jokes that was like, okay, as long as I don't feel anything, yeah, I'll laugh at whatever you say right now. So, and all of a sudden she said, oh no. Well, that's not the thing to say when you She said that in her years of dentistry, all of her years, she's never seen that happen, where the tooth literally pulled back and popped up out of my mouth on its own. And I could feel it like on the roof of my mouth. I was like, huh? She must have broke it. She said the tooth popped up and it went straight into me. And I said, okay. She said it's a miracle. And then she got to speaking Yiddish. I was wondering when she was speaking in tongues, but I think she was speaking Yiddish. I do recognize some of the words. It was like, I walked out and I thought of that. So this week I thought of that as well. When I didn't want to be in that chair, and I had fear that was bothering me. And please don't tell me that if you have faith, you don't have fear. There's always a fear of something, but it's the spirit of fear that will paralyze you. So now I began to talk to God. I began to get like David. Lord, I remember when, let's see, there was a lion, there was the bear, and now I got this here uncircumcised Philistine. Who is this man that he defied the armies of the God? Well, Lord, I remember when. And I think that that's what we're going to have to start doing, especially with what's coming. We're going to have a good memory on what God has already done for us. Now, the people that say to God, I did this and I did this and the Lord opened the door and I went and did this. No, I didn't do nothing apart from God. Matter of fact, you think you got up this morning apart from God? You think you can operate? Give him back his air. Holler back if you hear me. Okay. But those are the things that we're going to have to do. And that's bringing me to a lesson that when we come up to those times, we're going to have to be like David and say, wait a minute, Lord. The lion, the bear, and now him, it ain't going to be no problem. So think about it. My very first one, he hurt me. But then God allowed me to remember the Jewish grandmother. She helped me. And then when it came to this man, what happened was, as he was pulling, and I could hear, and he said, oh, he said, it just came out. Nothing broke, no cuts, no nothing. He said, matter of fact, rinse it out, we'll send you home just like that. I didn't have a lot of pain. I really didn't take a whole lot of pain or anything, to be honest. And then I sat there and I smiled the whole day. As much as I could. Like one point was smiling like the Joker, the other part was down like I was frowning, from the Novocaine. But so I want you all to begin to remember. Rehearse your remembrance. Keep that going. Rehearse your remembrance. Like when people say, well, do you remember that? You need to have that thing rehearsed to where it will come straight out like David. Look, I killed the lion, killed the bear, and now I'm getting this uncircumcised Philistine. So let's continue to rehearse our remembrance. God bless you, Dr. Prodigal. And I'm going to smile. See, you can't even see it, can you? Ha ha!